Our work is focused on grassroots power building for reproductive justice by creating a cycle of leadership development. We know that the charity model does not work because charity exists to continue to make those with power feel good. In this end, we have people that need stuff. And at the other end, we have people that have stuff. In this interaction, the only thing that happens is that the people that have stuff feel good. And those who don't satisfy a temporary need in a few weeks or months. They will have the same need. That's what we have developed and created a different model.
And because we understand that this model of charity doesn't work, we don't do that, right? So what we are doing actually is making sure that we're complicating that by adding alternate points. The second point is volunteer. Volunteering. And the third point is leadership. And so collectively, this process creates a cycle. And the importance of this cycle is understanding that contrary to charity, actually what is happening here is that we are building a community that understands those rights and that has the tools and the power to create solutions for their continual needs. So what does that mean? So in the first phase up here, we call this mutual support. So mutual support happens with two different things. The first one is participation. For example, in the clinic, the way that people participate is by attending their first appointment. Once people attend their first appointment, then we ask them to volunteer, which is making sure that people are being in charge of the basic functions of the clinic. So for example, a person or a new member of the clinic can support in registration, in interpreting, in learning how to do vitals, or they can do llamadas de bienestar, which in English is calls for well-being. And then what happens is that for those people who are most involved, then they're giving this next opportunity, which is leadership development. And so this phase down here is called cultivating leaders. So what happens there is people are involved in the clinic. They start saying, okay, I understand that I have not had access, many of us have not had access as undocumented people to medical, to satisfy actually your medical needs. And so we give them the opportunity to be part of the leadership team, which is called promotoras. And the promotoras is a 6-month cycle that supports patients of the clinic to be able to understand why we don't have access to healthcare, like Proposition 200 in Arizona, and SB 1070, how it's connected to incarceration, and the laws that criminalize sex work. And so once they're able to understand and be part of this 6-month commitment, they're also able to then, at the same time that they're learning these skills, they're outreaching and sending new people to the clinic that will start their process here. Because they will have a need, they will show up to their first cita or appointment, and then we will ask them to participate. And so the next piece is once the promotoras are done, they're giving an opportunity, and as they're being politicized, to identify different needs or ways to fulfill different needs. For example, a good example of this is that in our community legal course, which has the same cycle, and all over Project Zoo, they identified that the best way to make sure we were supporting trans women and trans people when applying for asylum was actually to create a support group. So now we have 3 support groups, one for trans women, one for trans men, and another one for non-binary people, to make sure that they're actually having a space to safely talk about their traumas. And so once this happens and people are politicized, what we believe is that at the center we're creating community power, because no matter what happens in this, if people decide to stay with us or leave, they have a better understanding of the socio-political system and how to make a change. And not only do they understand, they actually have the tools, if they wanted to even create their own organization, and that is how we're building reproductive justice in here specifically in Phoenix. Understanding that we don't just need access to health, we need access and an understanding of these tools to fuck shit up, because that's what we're about, and that's what we're excited to teach people.